Pero hindi kayo aware kung anong tawag natin dito. Ay, anong tawag natin doon sa process na yon. And it's called annuity. Okay. So for you to be given the idea, let's have here a scenario. Ayan. So we have here we have here Kenneth and family. Okay, so meron silang anak na isa lang, and para hindi sila mahirapan na ipasok yung anak nila sa college, they took an educational plan sa isang bangko. So ibig sabihin yung educational plan na yun yung gagamitin nila pagpasok ni yung anak nila. Pangalan natin na yung dito Kenneth. Okay, I see Kenneth pala yung father. Pangalan nating Josh. Okay. So para hindi mahirapan si Josh pag nag-college na siya pagdating sa financial support. Ayan. So it will take 10 years from now before Josh will be entering college. Ayan. According to the educational plan, Mr. Kenneth will pay an amount of 10,000 pesos at the end of every year until that Mr. Josh will be entering college. Okay, so ibig sabihin, it will be 10 years that Mr. Kenneth will pay an amount of 10,000 pesos every end of the year. Okay. So assuming that the bank offered them that their money grows at the interest rate of 4% compounded annually. Ibig sabihin yung every 10,000 na sinasave nila, nag-grow ng 4% interest compounded annually. And now the question is how much money they are going to have or they can withdraw at the end of 10 years or by 10 years. Magkano yung pera na mawi-withdraw or how much is the total money na na-save na nila after 10 years. At yun yung amount na kanilang withdraw. Okay? So to answer that question, we need to determine the future value of each 10,000 payment. Magkano yung future value ng 10,000 at the end of this time, after 10 years. And how much is the value of 10,000 the moment that Mr. Kenneth will withdraw the savings. And of course, until the last 10,000, how much is the value of the last 10,000 the moment that Mr. Kenneth will withdraw their savings or the amount they have in their educational plan. Okay, and then to answer that, we are going to solve the future value of each 10,000 and for us to determine the total savings. And we know that the formula in solving the future value of a compounded interest, that is, we have here the F, which is equals to present value multiplied to the quantity 1 plus I raised to n. Wherein, it's not directly specified yung value ng I natin and n sa given scenario na to or given this problem. And given the formula, we're going to identify what are the values that are already given in this scenario. We have the 10,000, that is the principal amount or the present value. And then the rate of interest, it is given to be 4%. So this is already given in such agreement, or how much is the rate of interest in such agreement. And that will be 4% or in decimal, 0.04. So I do hope na alam nyo kung paano isulat ang isang percentage sa kanyang decimal form. Kasi basic na yan. And then, well, of course, M. So sabi dito, compounded annually. We have already learned last time that if the compounding or interest period or interest conversion period is annually, the value of M will be 1. Or it follows that the value of M will be 1. And we're going to use these values to solve for the value of I that we're going to use in this formula. That is, this is the formula given in the discussion we have last Friday. That is, I is equal to R over M, wherein our R here is 0.04 and our M will be 1. So 0.04 divided by 1 or over 1 is simply 0.04. So you need to understand that over has the same meaning when we talk about division. So this is 0.04 divided by 1. Okay. And we have here the value of n. We cannot specify directly the value of n here because we don't know, there is no specified length of time for each 10,000. Because yung first 10,000 na to, it has a longer length of time from the time now we are going to withdraw the savings. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years that it will stay at the bank. On the other hand, yung second 10,000 natin, because it is saved later, therefore its length of time will be shorter compared to the first 10,000. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 years. And well, of course, when we talk about length of time, that should be expressed in terms of years. So pag naka-express yung length of time in terms of months, we need to convert or find the equivalent of that months in years. Ayan. Okay, so let us solve the future value of its 10,000 for us to know the total savings that they can withdraw upon Josh will enter college. Okay. So we have here the following solution. We have here the first 10,000. We have here the solution. Okay, first we're going to substitute the following given to the formula. So ano ang value ng P natin that is given to be 10,000. And then we have here just copy the 1. 1 here is always constant. So it does, the value of 1 here doesn't change. Okay, and then plus the rate of interest is, or the value of I is 0.04 and raised to, now the length of time will be 9 for our, or the value of n for our first 10,000 will be 9. It's because the length of time of this 10,000 is, as we have said earlier, it is 9 from the, to the time that we're going to withdraw the savings. And 9 times 1, or M here is given to be 1, is still 9. And if you're going to use calculator, or if you're going to simplify this one, the value of the first 10,000 or the future value of the first 10,000 will be 14,233.12. So that is the value of this first 10,000 here, the moment that the savings will be withdrawn. Yan. Next, for the second 10,000 naman, we have here the following solution. So same value for the present value because that is the amount that is being saved in the second savings plus multiply to the quantity. So dito para sa parentheses, we read this as quantity to the quantity 1 plus 0.04 and it follows. Same sa ating first solution. Ang magbabago lang is yung value ng n because the second 10,000 is saved shorter compared to the first 10,000. Ayan. So it's the length of time of that will be 8. And we are going to count here from this point 1, 2. So that is by years 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And 8 times 1 is still 8. And then just solve or calculate. And then the future value of the second 10,000 will be 13,685.69. So we rounded off each future values up to 2 decimal places only. Okay. And it follows from the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then 7, and then 8, 9, and then the last 10,000 to be paid. So the last 10,000 we have here, dito sa ating graph, the last 10,000, the future value of that is still 10,000. Because the moment that the last 10,000 will be saved, that is the moment or the time also that the savings will be withdrawn. So the length of time will be 0, and 0 times 1 is still 0, which is equals to, if you're going to simplify this one or calculate, that will be still 10,000. Okay. Okay, do you have any question here? Okay, so if you're going to determine or answer the question, how much is the total savings that can be withdrawn by the family of Kenneth, that will be 120,061.08 pesos. How did we arrive this one? Just add the future values of each 10,000 or each payment. So just add 14,232.12 until 10,000, and that will be 120,061.8 pesos. Ibig sabihin, ito yung magiging pera ni Josh na pwede niyang gamitin for financial assistance for his tertiary education. So that is an application of, or this scenario or certain problem shows an annuity. So this is a specific problem of annuity. Okay. Miss Jamila, paki-unmute mo na yung kuha natin. Ayan. So this is a specific problem related to annuity. Okay, so from this problem, what definition you can derive with annuity? Ano ang pwede nating words or statements, or what are the definition we can derive for definition of annuity from this scenario? Dear students, or how do we describe annuity if this is the example? Do you have any idea? How do we derive annuity based on this example? Anyone? O sige nga, Morris. Okay, based on this example, how do we define annuity? Or what is the definition of annuity that we can derive from this example? Anyone from the class? Meron ba kayong naiisip dyan based on this scenario? How about Alera? What definition of annuity we can derive from this situation? Okay, how about Sandy? Can you describe annuity based on this situation? Ano bang magpo-volunteer? How about Jamila? Hello? Mamagdak ba?
Yes, sir.
Miss Ariel. Ano ti may bagam ti annuity based in this situation? Any guess or any idea? Ano ti maibagam ti annuity based on this situation?
Sir, solving for the rate in a long period of time or interest, ganun.
Okay, so it is, tama naman, it is solving the interest for a long period of time. So it will have here 10 years. Okay? You have the idea? Any more from the one? How about from the Humes E? Saan yung mga Humes E natin? Yes, Jamila.
Sir, fixed income iti kwan ti per period of time. Example dagay annually kasay, sir.
Okay, so or
dagay semi-annually kasay, sir.
okay, so tama naman. So it's sabi niya it should be fixed income or fixed savings each period of time. So ang problem natin dito is it's a fixed payment. So we have here 10,000 each period of time or given period of time we have here every year. So dito sa situation natin, it is every year. Therefore, there will be a fixed payment of 10,000 every year. And that is, how do we describe annuity? And do you have any more idea on how to describe annuity? Yes, Ira? So tama naman yung sabi ni Jamila. It's an equal payment, uh, same payment each given period or payment interval. How about Ira?
Wait lang. Long-term investment po. Like, given by the insurance company or the bank.
Okay. Yes, it could be a long-term investment. Okay, so to give you an idea or to give you the definition of annuity, we have here the definition, the concrete definition. We have here, it is a series of equal periodic payments where the interest on each one is compounded. Ibig sabihin, it is when you see series of payments, that is many payments. Not only one, not only two, but many. More than two. Ayan. And it says here, periodic payments, ibig sabihin, paulit-ulit yan. Pag periodic, it is paulit-ulit. And well, of course, pag periodic, sabi niya, that will be, we have here equal periodic. Pag equal, ibig sabihin, it could be every year, every month, every 6 months, or every 3 months, or others. And it says here that the interest on each payment is compounded. As we have here, dito sa example natin, we have here, what is the equal periodic payment? That is 10,000. And periodic payment, ibig sabihin that is every year. And then if you're going to observe, we use here compounded interest. Therefore, for annuities, the interest is always compounded. Ayan. So this is a situation that shows annuity. Okay. So annuity again, that is a series of equal periodic payments wherein the interest on each period, on each payment is compounded. Yung each payment natin na 10,000, yung interest din is always compounded. And it is a series of payment of 10,000 for a long year. We have here 10 years. And it could be, since sabi din periodic, ibig sabihin paulit-ulit na payment. So we have here 10,000, 10,000 until din sa 10 years. So that is annuities. And annuities, we can have here many applications on, of course, in the installment payment. Marami tayong installment payment na alam, di ba? Like for the example is the home credit. Ayan. That is example of annuity. But not all type of installment is falls under annuity, because for annuity, for a situation to be called to fall under annuity, it should apply the compound interest. And some insurance policy rin, it also applies annuity. And of course, we have your savings. Example of this is the situation we have earlier. So we have here the application of, or these are the money transactions wherein annuity is applied. Okay. So do you have any clarifications about annuity before we proceed with the types of annuity? May clarification ba tayo sa annuity, sa definition? Nakuha na ba yung definition ng annuity natin? Alam na ba kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng annuity?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I hope you follow. Okay, let's proceed with the types of annuities. So, meron tayong types ng annuities. Hindi lang yan isa. Or before we proceed with the types, we have here the following values or following terms that are involved when we talk about annuities. Okay. So, present value of annuity. So, we have also present value. But of course, we need to specify what whose present value is that. Is it for just simple interest or compound interest only? So if we're going to talk about annuity, we need to specify that the present value we are going to talk is annuity. And we're going to have it here, present value of annuity. And we're going to use the symbol for present value of annuity, which is capital letter A. So wag kayong ma-confuse dun sa capital letter P. If we're going to talk about annuity, the present value, the symbol for that will be capital letter A. Okay, so how do we determine present value? So dito sa ating situation na to, yung present value dito is, pag isosolve mo yung present value ng 10,000, ibig sabihin ano ang value ng first 10,000 na to from this time, dito sa 0, yung nag-start yung educational plan. Same dito sa second 10,000, ano yung value niya dito? And then same dito sa last 10,000, what will be its value from this point? So pag inad lahat natin yung present value ng 10,000 na to, yun yung tinatawag nating present value of annuity. Okay? So ano ba yung purpose? Pag savings yan, ano ba yung purpose ng pag-solve ng present value of annuity? Okay, so sometimes present value, pag savings yan, pag sinove natin yung present value of this annuity, it is sometimes called fair market value. Kasi nga yung value ng 10,000 na to from this year is not the same to the value of the 10,000. Ibig sabihin, parang, di ba yung 10,000 mo ngayon, kaya niyang bumili ng, hindi niya, yung 10,000 mo ngayon, pag kaya niyang bumili ng dalawang cellphone, pag ganun, yung 10,000 mo next year, hindi niya kaya. Ibig sabihin, bumaba yung value ng 10,000 next year. Ayun. Kaya yung parang fair market value ng mga nung present value ng annuity na to. Ayan. Fair market value pag savings. Ayan. Ayan naman yung amount of the annuity, that is the total future values of each payment. Kaya dito sa problem natin, ang future amount of annuity is, we have here 120,061.08 pesos. Yun yung total future values. Ayan. And then the term of annuity, oh, by the way, capital letter S is the letter we're going to use for the symbol of amount of the annuity. And then we have here the term of annuity, that is the length of the annuity, to end or to plus, or the maturity time of the annuity. Kaya dito sa problem, ang length or the term of annuity here is 10 years. Okay, kasi mag-end yung annuity na to, or yung series of payment at the end of 10 years. Then is the term of annuity. And the periodic payment, that is sometimes symbolized as capital letter R. But so for some references, ang ginagamit nila is PMT, capital letter PMT. Ayan. Yan yung periodic payment. Yung periodic payment natin dito sa problem natin is yung 10,000 pesos na to. Ayan. Ibig sabihin ito yung pag periodic payment, ito yung binabayad natin every period or every given period. Yung payment interval dito sa problem natin, that is every year. Kasi yung payment natin ginagawin natin dito sa problem na to, yung payment is ginagawa every year. Ibig sabihin yan yung payment interval. And it's not always every year. It depends on the agreement. It could be every 15 days, every month, every 3 months, every 2 months, every 6 months. Yeah. Or every 2 years. It depends on the agreement on the both parties of the kung sino yung nagsasave and kung sino yung pinagsasavean ng savings. Ayan. So we have here the following terms that we're going to encounter later on sa pag-solve ng annuity. Okay, so I do hope do you have any clarification on these terms? So always remember the symbols we're going to use for present value of annuity and then annuity of amount of annuity until the periodic payment. Ayan. Okay, let's proceed naman din dito sa types ng annuities. So first, we're going to compare yung payment interval sa interest period. Ibig sabihin okay, so given sa problem kasi yung mga payment interval and interest period, i-compare lang natin yun and then we're going to categorize yung problem. Okay, so first we have here simple annuity, and then second we have here general annuity. Pag simple annuity, yung problem or yung scenario is, or it has payment interval, which is equals to the interest period. Okay, so in this problem, okay, so let's have this first example of simple annuity. Okay, pakibasa nga Miss Mr. Josh.
Mr. Arsolo enrolls his daughter in the College Education Plan (CEP). He pays 2,100 pesos at the end of every 3 months. In turn, the CEP deposits the payment in a bank that pays 2% compound quarterly.
Okay, thank you. So if you're going to observe in this problem, we have here Mr. Amor Solo will be saving an amount of 2,100 pesos at the end of every 3 months. And yung payment or each payment of 2,100 grows at the interest rate of 2% compounded quarterly. So this is an example of simple annuity. It's because yung payment interval niya is every 3 months. And yung interest period or interest conversion period is quarterly. So when we say quarterly, that is also every 3 months. So it is equal, or the interest period is the same with the payment interval. Ibig sabihin, that will be, or this problem will fall under simple annuity. Okay. Next, how about the second example? Pakibasa nga. Rogers. What a wonderful name.
A credit, a credit, hello. A credit card company charge their customers remaining balance every end of the month with an interest rate of 1.5 compounded monthly.
Okay. Sir Rogers, what is the payment interval in this problem? Ano yung payment interval natin? Based dito sa binasa mo, Mr. Rogers, ano yung payment interval natin?
Sir, the interest rate of 1.5%?
Or pag sinasabi nating payment interval, how often yung payment na gagawin? So that is every month. Given naman dito sa ating problem, it's naka-blue. Yeah. So we have here,
Okay.
yung payment interval is how often, yes. When you say payment interval, how often is the payment? Kaya dito sa ating first example, the 2,100 will be paid every 3 months. And that is the payment interval. So always remember. And dito naman sa ating second example, the payment is every month. Okay? And next, what is the interest period, Mr. Rujus?
Compounded monthly, sir?
Okay, yes. Tama, very good. Thank you. So we have here the interest period that will be monthly. So how often the interest will also grow? That will be monthly. Okay. So the payment interval here, every month, is the same with the interest period, which is monthly. Therefore, this problem falls under simple annuity. On the other hand, pag hindi parehas ang payment interval sa ating interest period, ibig sabihin that that type of annuity will be general annuity. Okay, let's have here the first example. Sinong gustong magbasa? Who wants to read our first example? Anyone?
Sir.
How about the others?
Sir.
Kindly participate. Mag-participate tayo. Yes, Jubel.
Teresa needs to pay for her car loan an amount of 17,600 pesos every end of the month for 5 years with an interest rate of 8.8% compounded annually.
Okay, hold on, Miss Jubel. So, thank you for reading. Then, based on this problem, what will be our payment interval, Ms. Jubil?
Every end of the month, sir.
Okay, and then what is our interest period?
Compounded annually.
Okay, thank you. So we have here the payment interval is every month, and then the interest period is annually. Okay, so therefore, if we're going to compare yung payment interval natin, which is every month, yung payment interval natin, tapos yung interest period niya is annually. And when we talk about annually, that is every year. Therefore, hindi sila equal sa payment interval kasi yung payment interval natin is every month. On the other hand, the interest period is annually. Ibig sabihin, hindi sila equal. And pag hindi equal, that is, that type of annuity is general annuity. Okay. Next problem, here we have IRA.
A 10-year lease agreement requires you to pay 250,000 at the beginning of every 6 months. With an interest rate of 4% compounded quarterly.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Miss Ira, what is our payment interval?
Every 6 months.
And the interest period is?
Compounded quarterly.
Okay, thank you. So yung payment interval natin is hindi parehas sa ating interest period kasi ang every 6 months is not the same as quarterly. Pag quarterly, that will be every 3 months. Okay? So they are not equal. Therefore, it is general annuity. Okay? Nakuha ba ang difference ng simple annuity sa general annuity or may katanungan? Okay, pag walang katanungan, kindly press ang ating raise hand button or raise hand icon. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's proceed naman, Gord. Let us proceed naman dun sa, since nakuha nyo ng difference ng simple and general annuity, let's proceed naman dun sa by date of payment. Okay? So ngayon, ang i-compare naman natin is yung date of payment. Or given the payment interval, when will they pay in the given payment interval? Is it in the beginning of the payment interval? It will be, is it at the end of the payment interval or not? Okay, so given yung every month, for example, yung payment interval is every month, kailan sila magbabayad sa first month? Ibig sabihin, is it doon ba sa first day ng month or doon ba sa last day ng isang month? Ayan. Okay, so we're going to determine kung anong tawag natin doon na type of payment. Okay? We have your ordinary annuity. If we talk about ordinary annuity, the payment is done at the end of the payment interval. Like for example, if every month yan na payment, therefore yung first payment is gagawin sa last day ng first month. And same din sa second month, gagawin din yung next payment dun sa last day ng second month. Okay? So that is every end of the month or every end of the payment interval. And that is the opposite of annuity due. Kasi pag sa annuity due naman, the payment is done at the beginning of the payment interval. So pag every month, therefore every first day of the month, doon ginagawa yung payment. So yung payment interval na first month dito, yung payment is gagawin sa first day mismo. Kaya kung yung agreement is 1 year, therefore, and then the agreement starts at January, therefore January 1, doon mismo gagawin yung first payment. Okay? Compare dito sa ordinary annuity, pag 1 year yan, tapos nag-start siya ng January, ibig sabihin, January 31 gagawin yung first payment sa ordinary annuity. Okay? Dito naman sa deferred annuity, it describes or it explains that yung first payment is or may na-skip na payment interval. Ibig sabihin, pag every year, every month yan, tapos we have here 1 year, therefore, pag in-skip niya yung, tapos nag-start yung annuity ng January, tapos in-skip niya yung January, February, Tapos nag-start siya ng payment sa March. Ibig sabihin that is deferred. Kasi pag deferred annuity, may penalty, parang penalty na binibigay sa late payment. So parang nag-skip siya ng payment interval. Tapos it continues na every month pa rin yung payment. Ayan. So that is for deferred. So let's have your examples. Pakibasa nga Mr. J. Stanley, yung first example natin sa ordinary annuity. Okay. Anyone who wants to read our first example for ordinary annuity? Sinong gustong magbasa?
Sir,
Raise your hand. Okay, Rojus ulit.
Mr. Amor Solo enrolled his daughter in the College Education Plan or CEP. He paid 2,100 pesos at the end of every 3 months. In turn, the CPEP deposit the payments in the bank that pay at 2% compounded quantity. A credit
Okay, thank you. So that is our example. Okay. Oh, yeah. So thank you for reading. So we have here the first example, and if you're going to observe here, Mr. Armolso will pay the 2,100 at the end of the every 3 months. So yung payment interval dito is every 3 months. And of course, yung first payment niya, gagawin niya sa last day ng first 3 months. Ayan, so at the end. Ayan, specified naman yan. Okay, so this problem falls under ordinary annuity. Next, we have here the second example. Who wants to read? How about the others? We kindly participate.
Sir.
Okay. How about the others? Jubel, sige ka ulit.
A credit card company charges their customers remaining balance every end of the month with an interest rate of 1.5% compounded monthly.
Okay, so we have here mga customers na may utang or have remaining balance, pinababayad nila every end of the payment interval. And the payment interval here is every month. So ibig sabihin every end of the month, nagbabayad yung mga customers. So that falls under ordinary annuity. So let's proceed naman dito sa ating annuity due. Okay, pakibasa Miss Alera.
Teresa needs pay for her car loan an amount of 17,600 every beginning of the month of 5 years with an interest rate of 8.8% compound annually.
Okay, thank you. So if you're going to observe from this problem, the payment interval is every month as well. So Ms. Teresa will pay an amount of 17,600 every beginning of the month. Ibig sabihin, that is annuity due. Okay, so pag beginning yan, it is annuity due. Sometimes it's not specified as beginning, or sometimes it is specified as first day. Ganun. Basta it follows, or the context of the word is same with beginning, then it falls under annuity. Same naman dito sa ordinary annuity, it's not always specified as end, but yung context na ginagamit ng word, basta end yung context niya, therefore it falls under ordinary annuity. Because it depends on the problem of how they have specified yung payment or date of payment. It's not always the word end, it's not always the word beginning. Ayan. Okay. So therefore, this the first problem here is annuity due. Okay, let's have the next one. Who wants to read the next one? Yes, Ivory.
A 10-year lease agreement requires you to pay 250,000 at the beginning of every 6 months with an interest rate of 4% compounded quarterly.
Okay, thank you. So we have here a 10-year lease agreement wherein the payment will be 250,000 pesos at the beginning of every 6 months. Okay, so if you're going to have here, the payment interval is every 6 months. And every beginning of each 6 months, that will be the payment or date of payment. Okay, therefore, it is annuity due because it is every, or it is beginning of every payment interval. Okay. Next, let's have here the example for deferred annuity. Yes, Ariel.
For a low-cost house and lot, after 6 months, Mrs. Bowl agreed to pay 5,430 pesos at the end of each month for 20 years at an interest of 6% compounded monthly.
Okay, thank you. So we have here an example of deferred annuity. If you're going to observe, the payment is, or the payment interval is every month for 20 years. That is the payment interval every month. However, yung first payment niya, hindi niya gagawin sa first month. She will pay it after 6 months. Therefore, na-delay siya ng 6 months. Yung first 6 months, hindi siya magbabayad. Therefore, it falls under deferred annuity. Yan naman yung deferred annuity. And of course, pag deferred annuity, it could be categorized under yung succeeding payments. It could be end or beginning as well. Depends on the given problem. It's not always end. Yung ginamit lang natin dito na problem is at the end yung payment sa next succeeding payments. It could be also at the beginning. Okay? So that is for deferred annuity. Okay, so do you have any clarifications dito sa ating types of annuities before we proceed with the activity natin?
None, sir.
None, sir.
None, sir.
None, sir.
None, sir.
Okay, I hope na naintindihan niyo kung ano ang difference ng ordinary, annuity due, and deferred. Ayan. And same din sa difference ng simple and general. Maurice, awan ba ti klase yu?
On, sir.
Ada ti klase yu, kaklase di classmates mo.
On, yeah.
Ada ti send me nga link mo. Bakan ka aware. Ada ti send me nga link per advisor. Ayan. Okay, let's proceed naman dito sa activity. Okay, so we have here the following situations or problems, and your task is you're going to identify. Is it simple ordinary annuity, general ordinary annuity, simple ordinary annuity due, or general annuity due? So wala tayong deferred annuity dito. So ibig sabihin, we have here the first categorization. Pag simple yan, yung payment interval and interest period are the same. So, pag general naman, magkaiba ang payment interval sa interest period. Ayan. Okay, again, in ordinary, pag ordinary naman yung date of payment is made at the end of the payment interval. Pag annuity due, it is made at the beginning of the month. Okay, so we have here, we're going to identify if the given problem falls under ordinary annuity and at the same time it is simple. And of course, we have here also the ordinary annuity and at the same time it is general annuity. So we have here the following problems, and I'll be giving you 5 minutes to study these given problems, and I'll be calling someone randomly to give his or her answer on on one item. Okay, so let's get back by 10:31, and let's take this also as our break, 5 minutes break, as you go through with these examples. Okay. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, let's have here the first example or first problem. Okay, we have here who wants to answer number one. Do you have any? Do we have any volunteer to answer our first example? May volunteer ba tayo? Who wants to volunteer? Anyone from the among the students wants to answer number one? Walang sasagot sa number one. Except ni Maurice. Tamo nanday to eh. Sige, Joanna. Pakibasa muna tapos pakisabi yung sagot.
Cecilia is going to pay a series of payment of 2,500 at the end of every 6 months for 5 years with an interest rate of 5.5% compounded semi-annually.
And,
Simple ordinary annuity, sir.
okay, bakit?
Because sir, agrugi nga agbayad every end of 6 months. Tapos, it is compounded semi-annually kami.
Okay, thank you. Tama. So for our first here, we have simple ordinary annuity. So ulitin ko lang ang sabi niya. Okay, so first we're going to identify pag ordinary or annuity due. So sabi dito, the payment is made at the end. Therefore, pag end that is ordinary. Okay. And then we're going to categorize pag simple yan or general. So i-compare natin yung payment interval tapos interest period. Ano ba yung payment interval dito? Sabi dito, it says that it is every 6 months. And yung interest period natin is semi-annually. And when you say semi-annually, that is every 6 months as well. Therefore, it is equal to the payment interval. So it is simple. Pag parehas, simple. Pag magkaiba, general. So for our first example, that is simple ordinary annuity. Okay? Very good, Miss Joanna. Okay, let's give additional points sa sasagot. So, Miss Dolina. Okay. Next, who wants to answer number 2? Magbibigay tayo ng additional points sa mga sasagot. How about the others? Sige nga, Ken. Mr. Ken. Pakibasa muna.
Mr. De Leon made a loan requiring him to make payments of 3,800 pesos at the end of every 4 months for 3 years with an interest rate of 3.4% compounded semi-annually. General annuity due, sir.
General annuity due? Okay. Bakit? Bakit general annuity due?
The payment interval is the he pays 3,800 pesos at the beginning of every 4 months. The payment interval in the ito.
Okay, so the payment interval is, ano yung payment interval natin dito? Ano ang payment interval natin? Agree ba kayo that this is general annuity due? Who disagree?
Yes, sir. Tama po.
Are you sure? How about Jamila? What's your answer?
Same with Ken po, sir.
Okay.
General annuity due.
How about Ginny Lane? Miss Chen Span. What's your answer?
Same, sir. Same.
How do we pronounce your last name?
Sir, Chinapsan.
Ay, Chinapsan.
Yes, sir.
Chain Span. Chinapsan pala. Okay, so same din kay Ken. Who disagree? Sino may ibang sagot? Baka may ibang, merong may ibang sagot dyan. Aside from general annuity due. Okay, so tama naman si Mr. Kadwagan, Mr. Ken. So it is general annuity due because yung date of payment natin is every beginning. Therefore, it is annuity due. And of course, yung payment interval natin na 4 months is not equal to the interest period which is semi-annually. Kaya, kasi pag semi-annually, and that is every 6 months. Therefore, it is general. They are not equal. Okay, very good, Mr. Ken. Okay, let's have the third one. Who wants to answer the third one? Okay, Miss Jamila.
Gary agreed to help his parents for the tuition fee of his siblings. He is going to deposit 15,000 at the beginning of each year for the next 7 years with an interest of 2.5% compounded annually.
And your answer is
General annuity juicer.
general annuity due.
Ay,
Okay. Are you sure?
yes, sir.
Are you sure? How sure are you?
100% sure, sir.
Okay. Who has a different answer? Let's check. How about the others?
Any answer na?
Mr. Morris, alam mo na yung sagot. Okay, who has a different answer? How about the others? Eril, anong sagot mo?
Sir, simple annuity.
Simple annuity, Jew. Okay, how about Miss Dulinan?
Same, sir.
No, same kay.
Same ejay, simple, sir. Simple annuity due.
Okay. How about Jeneline? What's your answer?
Sir, simple annuity jungat lang.
Okay. Okay, again, may I ask Miss Jamila, what's your answer again?
Sir, I don't know.
Anong I don't know? So your
Sir,
answer is general annuity Jew. Do you want to change your answer or do you stick with general annuity Jew?
mm, sir, di ko po kasi masyadong naintindihan yung simple annuity due.
Okay, so let's check kung anong wabang sagot dito. Okay, so we have here the payment interval is every year. So that is each year. Ayan. And then, okay, let's categorize muna pag annuity or ordinary annuity. So it says here that the payment or the date of payment is made at the beginning. Ibig sabihin, pag beginning yan, it is annuity due, di ba? So dito na lang tayo magka-categorize. Is it simple or general? Okay. It says here that the payment interval is each year and then the interest period is compounded annually. Therefore, the annually that is same as every year. Okay, so pag parehas, it is simple. Okay. Nice try, Miss Jamila. So this third example is simple annuity. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully, are you convinced or do you have any clarification, Miss Jamila? May katanungan ba?
Sir, may nabasa po kasi ako dito, general annuity due since the payment interval is every year while the interest conversion period is monthly and the payment is made at the beginning of the year. Sir, any clarification po?
Yeah, tama naman, general annuity due yan. Kasi yung payment interval niya is every year and then yung interest period niya is monthly, tama ba? compounded monthly. Kaya siya general. Ayan. Paki-check nga kung tama, baka mali yung nakalagay. Pa-verify na lang. No, i-correct tayo. Ayan. Okay, thank you. Next, let's have here number 4. Once answer number 4. Okay, Miss Lozano.
Number 4.
Lozano
Mr.
ba tayo
Garcia.
apelidom? Correct. Lozano
Mr.
tayo apelidom?
Garcia. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Sige. Okay, continue.
Mr. Garcia pays his loan with the amount of 120,000 every end of the month for 8 years. His loan has an interest of 10.5% compounded annually. Sir, yung sagot ko is general ordinary annuity kasi it is every end of the month tapos compounded annually.
Okay, thank you. Very good. So that is general annuity due. Kasi nga yung sabi ni Miss Alera, yung payment, date of payment is every end. Ibig sabihin, it's ordinary. So simple bar general, if you're going to observe, yung payment interval is every month. And then the interest period is annually. So annually is not the same, is not equal to every month. So that is general. Okay, thank you. Next, number 5. Okay, Miss Ivory.
A 10-year lease agreement requires you to pay 250,000 pesos at the beginning of every year with an interest rate of 4% compounded monthly. Ang answer ko po, sir, is general annuity due po.
General annuity due. Okay, do you agree, Miss Alera? Agree ka ba, Miss Alera? Na
Wait
general
lang.
annuity due?
Beginning of every month. General. Anong sagot mo, Ivory? General?
Yes.
A 10-year lease agreement requires the beginning of the year. Yes, sir. Agree.
Okay. How about the others who have a different answer? Aside from general annuity due. Oh, Mr. Ken, anong sagot mo?
Simple ordinary annuity, sir.
Simple ordinary annuity. Okay, let's check later on. How about the others? Sinong may ibang sagot? Or who agrees with general annuity, ordinary annuity, and general annuity due? Okay, let's check. So for number 5, since may dalawang sagot tayo, sabi dito the payment, let's compare first yung payment interval sa interest period. So ang payment interval is every year, and then the payment or the interest period is monthly. Therefore, pag hindi parehas ang payment interval against interest period, it is general. Now, is it ordinary or annuity due? Okay, so
Annuity, sir.
Annuity due pala, sir.
Yes, tama. It is annuity due because yung date of payment is made at the beginning. Okay? Always remember that pag ang annuity due, the date of payment is made at the beginning. So number 5 is general annuity due. Okay, very good. Okay, let's have the last one. Sino sasagot sa last? Okay, Miss Spad.
Suppose you will deposit 2,000 at the end of the month for 3 years with an interest rate of 2% compounded monthly. General ordinary annuity, sir?
General ordinary annuity. Okay, let's check. Who agree? Sino ti agree? Sino ti agree, Ray? Okay, let's check. Who has a different answer? So sabi ni Miss Spad, ang sagot niya ay general ordinary annuity. Saan yung mga iba? Yes, Freda, anong sagot mo?
Sir, simple annuity due.
Simple annuity due. Okay, let's check later on. Yes, Alera, what's your answer?
Sir, simple ordinary annuity. Kasi it is compounded monthly, yun din yung sabi dito sa example sa module.
Okay,
Ay, explanation pala, sir, hindi example.
okay. Sige, let's check. Titignan natin kung anong sagot nga talaga. Ano ba ang sagot? Is it simple ordinary annuity, general ordinary annuity, or general annuity due? Okay, so sabi dito, ang payment interval ay every month, and then yung interest period is monthly. Okay, so pag parehas na month, every month din yun, tapos monthly dito, since parehas sila, it falls under ordinary annuity. It falls under general pala. General. Ayan. Ay simple pala. Simple. Ano ba yan? So pag parehas, it falls under simple. Okay. So discard na natin ang general dito. Okay. Is it annuity due or ordinary annuity? Okay. So sabi dito at the end. So yung date of payment is at the end. Therefore, it is ordinary annuity. Okay. So the answer for the last one is simple ordinary annuity. So that is our last example. So hopefully, nakuha yung difference ng apat na to. So again, let's review. Pag ordinary annuity, yung date of payment is made at the end. Pag annuity due, made at the beginning. Okay? And then simple, parehas yung payment interval sa interest period. And then yung general, magkaiba naman yung payment interval sa interest period. Okay? So, it's very important that you know how to determine what type of annuities is the given problem, kung saan sila nagpo-fall dito. It's because magkakaiba yung way of solving ng apat na to. Same with the deferred annuity. So, iba ang way of solving yung simple ordinary annuity sa general ordinary annuity. Magkaiba din yung simple annuity due way of solving sa ordinary annuity. Ayan. Okay, so magkaiba ang formula ng ordinary annuity sa annuity due. Pero magkaparehas din ang formula ng ordinary ng simple sa general. Ang difference lang kasi sa general is yung pag-solve ng value ng I. Okay? So for this time, we're just going to learn how to solve simple ordinary annuity. We're not going to discuss how to, these examples, or we're not going to solve examples of these three categorization of annuities. We're just going to focus on simple ordinary annuity. Okay. Now we're going to proceed with the formulas used for solving simple ordinary annuity. As I have said earlier, magkaparehas lang din ang formula ng simple tsaka general. Kaya yung itong formulas na to ginagamit din dito sa ginagamit din sa general annuity due. General ordinary annuity. Okay? So, parehas ang formula na ginagamit sa simple ordinary annuity sa general annuity due. Ang only difference is yung pag-solve ng I. Yung I kasi ng simple annuity, simple ordinary annuity, ito yung ginagamit na formula. Compared sa general ordinary annuity, it's different. The way of solving the value of I is different. Yun. Pero dun sa annuity due, it has very different formula. Hindi ganito yung formula ng annuity due. It has a separate derived formula. Okay? So this formula help us to solve a given annuity para mas mabilis yung pag-solve natin. Kasi yung ginawa natin doon sa scenario na binigay ko sa una, yung ginawa natin is sinolve natin yung future value ng each para malaman natin yung amount of annuity. We solve the future value of each payment na 10,000. Tapos yung future value, we add all the future, for the amount of ordinary annuity, we add all the future values. And pag marami yung payment, it take us longer time to solve for the amount of the annuity. So we have here the derived formula para mas mabilis natin masagot kung ano man yung question ng given problem. But of course, you can use the longer solution if you want to. Pero para mas convenient, we can use the given formula here. Okay. So we have here the formula for present value of ordinary annuity. Ibig sabihin, the capital letter A, that is the present value. Always remember that the capital letter symbolizes present value of annuity. Pero pag ordinary yan, just put subscript dito sa capital letter A. Or if it's understood na yung tinutukoy na ang pinag-uusapan natin ay ordinary annuity, kahit hindi na natin ilagay yung ordinary dito sa subscript. Okay, and the formula for that is we have here very long formula, very complicated one. We have here R. Always remember that R, that is the periodic payment, multiplied to the 1 minus the quantity 1 plus I raised to negative n. The negative n here is an exponent all over I. Okay. And then for the amount of ordinary annuity, for us to determine the value of that, we are going to apply the formula, which is R multiplied to the quantity 1 plus I raised to n minus 1. So the exponent here is n. The minus 1 is not an exponent, all over I. Okay. And to determine the periodic payment, whenever it is as or yes, we're going to use the following formula. It depends on the given. Pag given ang amount of present value of annuity, we're going to use this. And pag given ang value ng S or the amount of annuity, we're going to use this one. Okay? We have here the formula for determining the value of the periodic payment. Whenever A is given, we have here AI or A times I over 1 minus 1 plus I raised to negative n. So the negative n here is an exponent. Okay. And then we have here, whenever S is given, we're going to use this one. Okay. We have here R is equals to Si or S times I over 1 plus I raised to n. So n here is the exponent minus 1. Okay. Remember, minus 1 here is not part of the exponent. Well, of course, it follows yung value ng I, we're going to use this one. Okay? So, dapat simple lang yung annuity. So that yung pag-solve natin ng I is R over M. Kasi pag general, nabigyan na sa module yung kung paano i-solve yung I pag general sa ordinary annuity. Okay? And of course, yung interest period natin or yung value ng M, always remember, pag annually, 1 hanggang monthly, that will be 12. And the value and solving the value of n is that will be m times t. And t or length of time or term of annuity is always expressed in years. Okay. So let's try to solve examples of simple ordinary annuity. But before we proceed with the examples, do you have any clarifications or questions?
Sir.
Okay. I do hope na naiintindihan ninyo. And I repeat, iba yung formula ng annuity due dito. Same sa deferred annuity, iba rin yung formula. Okay. Kaya dapat alam natin i-categorize yung given problem pag ordinary annuity, annuity due, or deferred annuity. Ang difference lang kasi sa simple and general yung pag-solve ng I. Ayan. Sa simple kasi ang I value ng I is R over M lang. Pag sa general naman, iba yung way of solving. Given na yan sa module ninyo. Okay, so let's have here the first examples or the first example. Who wants to read our first example? Who wants to read? Sino gusto magbasa? Let's have Shen. Miss Shen Dimagos. Pakibasa nga yung first na example natin. How about Josh?
Wait. Mr. Goson's monthly insurance premium is 500 pesos, payable at the end of each month. His policy matures 20 years later, after which he can withdraw all his payments plus the interest earned. If monies were 3% compounded monthly, how much does he expect to withdraw on the maturity of his policy?
Okay, so thank you. So we have here the first problem. Well, of course, we need to understand it first. We need to comprehend for us to be able to solve it correctly. So given, we are going to identify the given correctly and what is being asked in the given problem. Okay, so napag-daanan na naman yung mga ways of pag-solve ng given problem, di ba? Nagsimula na yan sa elementary. So hopefully alam nyo na kung or you know how to solve a given problem. Wherein you're going to identify first the given, the unknown, and the correct formula to be used based on the given and unknown. Okay. So we have here Mr. Goson, wherein he applies for an insurance policy. And the policy states that he needs to pay a premium of 500 pesos. And that is payable every end of the month. And the policy or the insurance policy will end after 20 years. So, okay. And now the question is, how much money will he receive at the end of 20 years whenever the interest per payment is 3% compounded monthly. Okay, so if you're going to observe this is a simple ordinary annuity, it's because the payment interval is each month and the interest period is monthly, wherein they are equal. Therefore, it is simple, and it says here that the date of payment is every end. Therefore, it is ordinary annuity. Okay, so we're going to identify the given. What is 500? What is being represented by 500? It's being represented by the 20 years, and that is what we have here. Ayan. So we have here the following given. 500 is the periodic payment, ayan, or the capital letter I. And what is the value of I? So we have here the rate of interest is given to be 3%. Sometimes this is called as yung rate of interest sa ating annuity. It is called, or same din sa compound interest. The rate of interest is sometimes called nominal rate. Okay, so just remember it is sometimes called nominal rate. Okay, so the nominal rate here is 3%, or in decimal that is 0.03. And the value of M, it says there that it is compounded monthly. Pag monthly yan, the value of M will be 12. Okay. So just divide the two values. Therefore, the value of I will be 0.0025, and the value of N will be, okay, the policy matures at 20 years. That will be our length of time. So that is 20 times the value of M that we have used in the solving the value of I, that will be 12. Therefore, the value of N will be 12 times 20, which is equals to 240. Okay. And the question here is how much is expected to be withdrawn at the end of the maturity of the policy. Therefore, the unknown here is the amount of annuity, or that is S. Okay. So we can solve directly the value of S. Therefore, the formula we're going to use is the formula in solving the value of S. That is, we have here. Okay. So after identifying the correct formula, or the proper formula to be used, just substitute the given that we have identified to the given formula, or to the formula we have. Wherein R here is the 500 pesos. Then just copy the constant 1 here, 1 plus 0.025, 0025, that is the value of I we have here, raised to the value of N, which is 240 minus 1. All over, just substitute again the value of I, that is 0.0025. Okay, so it's better that we are going to use, it will be better if you're going to use a calculator, a scientific calculator to solve this one. Or you can just have the calculator on the Google. Mayroon tayong calculator dyan na pwede natin gamitin sa pag-solve nito. Well, of course, you can solve this using higher mathematics, but it will be better if you're just going to use calculators. Kasi meron tayong exponent na 240, and that is a very, very large exponent. Okay, so we're just going to use scientific calculator here. And if you're going to input this sa calculator, dapat tama yung pag-input natin. Okay, that is what we have here. So we have 500 multiplied to 1, 1 plus 0.0025 raised to 240. Ayan. Minus 1 all over 0.0025, which is equals to 164,151 pesos. So always round your answers at two decimal places. Okay? So it will be better na yung gagamitin yung scientific calculator is yung FS9 ba yun? Na Casio? O yung kaya niyang mag-input ng ganitong equation. Ayan. So that is the future value or the answer to the given problem. And of course, our final answer will be our conclusion. So the conclusion here is, thus Mr. Goson expects to withdraw an amount of 164,151 pesos on the maturity of his policy. So yan yung amount na makukuha ni Mr. Goson after the end of the insurance policy. Okay, so that is our first example. May katanungan ba or question before we proceed with the next example? Do you have any questions or clarifications?
None, sir.
How about the
Answer.
others?
None, sir.
Okay, thank you.
None, sir.
So, naintindihan nyo na yung first example. I hope na nakuha nyo para alam nyo. Pag may katanungan kayo, just ask para alam nyo kung paano nyo sagutan yung given activity natin para hindi kayo mamali-mali. Okay? Let's have here the second
Yes, sir.
example. Yes. Okay, who wants to read the second example? Or kung ayaw nyong i-state yung question nyo, you can just input doon sa ating message section or comment section. Ayan. Who wants to read the second example? Okay, Miss Alera.
How much must be deposited now in the bank paying 5% compounded monthly if it is desired that at the end of every month is a withdrawal of 3,000 to be made for 5 years?
Okay, thank you. So we have here the given problem. Again, let's us first understand the given problem. So mga examples to na given sa module ninyo. Okay. So we have here, how much must be deposited? Ibig sabihin, ang tinatanong dito is, it doesn't specify naman na present value of annuity, but based on this phrase, the context is the present value. Ayan. So you need to understand some of the ways of or how they are going to specify the unknown. Ayan. It's not necessary na it is specified na present value or future value or sometimes periodic payment. So you need to understand the given problem and comprehend it. So we have here, how much must deposited, magkano daw yung i-deposit. Ibig sabihin, pag deposit, we're going to put. Ayan. Pag withdraw naman, yun yung ilalabas. Okay. Magkano ang i-deposit pag yung banko is, or it offers a 5% interest compounded monthly. And if you want to withdraw an amount of 3,000 pesos every month for 5 years. Okay. So what will be our given here? We have the following given. The R is, we have here, the 3,000 will be the R, the periodic payment. And the value of I, we have here, the rate of interest is, or the nominal rate is given to be 5%, or in decimal that is 0.05. And the interest is compounded monthly. Therefore, pag monthly, always remember the value of M will be 12. Yeah. Okay. And then just solve for the value of I. So we're going to use the decimal or the fraction form of the I, because if you're going to simplify this one, and if you're going to write this in its decimal form, it will take many decimal places. So it's it will be better if we're going to use the fraction form instead of the decimal form. Kasi mas accurate ang sagot natin pag hindi tayo nag-round off ng values within the solution. Okay? Pero pag kunti lang naman yung decimal places, then just use the decimal form. And well, of course, we have here the value of n, the length of time, or the term of annuity pala, that is 5 years. Okay, times 12, that is the value of n will be 60. Okay, so pag annuity ang tawag natin sa T is length, term of annuity instead of length of time pala. Ayan. And according to the problem, the unknown is the value of A. And the formula for that is, we have it here. A, which is equals to the quantity R, which is 3,000, based on the given that we have specified or identified. Then just copy the 1 here. Huwag nang papalitan yan kasi given na yan. Plus 1 minus the quantity 1 plus, just copy the value of I, 0.05/12 raised to negative. So don't forget the negative sign. Negative 60 all over 0.05/12. Okay. And then just input it to the calculator. We're going to have it here. 3,000 multiplied to, mag-calculator kayo or wala? Sino may calculator dito? On calculator yo?
Sir, awan.
Agusar kayo calculator ti Google, no, ti scientific calculator yo. Or mabali yung i-download dito yung calculator. You can search it dun sa Google natin. Yung ganitong calculator para hindi niyo kailangang bumili. Ayun. And this is offline. Pwede niyo gamitin offline. Kahit walang internet. Basta i-download lang niyo tapos install. For PC only hindi siya pwede sa cellphone. Okay, so therefore the value of A here is the amount needed to be deposited para makag-withdraw ka ng 3,000 every month for 5 years. Yes, we have here 158,972.2 pesos. And now our final answer will be our conclusion. That is, we have it here. Thus, the amount to be deposited will be 158,972.2. So always remember that if you're going to have your conclusion, it should answer the given problem. Dapat yung context ng yung conclusion is hindi malayo sa given problem. At na in-specify mo yung value doon, na na-solve mo kung mali yung context niya, therefore, mali din yung conclusion mo. Okay? Let's have here the third example. Who wants to read the third example? Sige, Miss Joanna. Si Ira mamaya.
What is the present value of an ordinary annuity if its value at the end of 10 years is 50,000? Assume that the money is worth 2% compounded quarterly being paid at the end of every 3 months. Sir?
Okay, thank you. So we have here the problem. So kung mapapansin nyo yung present value na unknown is already specified. Compared to sa ating problem recently, it's not specified. Okay, it is easier to identify the unknown. We have here the following given here. We have here 10 years, just to be the value of the annuity after 10 years is 50,000. And we have here the interest given or the nominal rate given, which is 2%. Then it is compounded quarterly. And then the payment interval is every 3 months, and that is every n. Therefore, it is simple ordinary annuity. Okay, let's identify the following given. We have the value of S is given to be 50,000. Okay, so it says here the value at the end of 10 years. Therefore, that will be the 50,000. Kasi yung amount of annuity, that is the value of, or that is the amount that will be that we we're going to have at the end of the term of annuity. And yung present value naman yun yung nasa start ng term of annuity. Okay? And we're going to have here the I, wherein R is the 2%. or in decimal that is 0.02, and M here is 4 because it says here compounded quarterly, and whenever the interest is compounded quarterly, the value of M will be 4, and then just divide the two values. 0.02 divided by 4 is 0.05. And then we have here the value of n will be the length of the term of annuity is given to be 10 years times the length times the value of m, which is 4, is 40. And then the unknown here is letter A, or capital letter A, or the present value of annuity. Okay, so if you're going to observe yung pag-solve natin ng present value of annuity, we need the value of D. Doon sa formula, we need the value of periodic payment. Pero dito sa given, hindi given ang periodic payment, di ba? Ang meron lang is si amount of annuity. Therefore, we need to determine first the periodic payment for us to be able to solve for the unknown. Okay? So, I've shared the formula in solving the periodic payment. Since ang given is S, therefore the S is a given formula for solving whenever S is given. And then just after identifying the given formula, just substitute the given to the formula. So we have here S is 50,000 times the value of I is 0.05, and then 1 plus 0.05 here raised to 40 minus 1. So yung minus 1 dito hindi siya included sa exponent. Kaya let's check kung paano, dapat alam natin kung paano natin isulat yung, or alam natin kung paano tayo mag-substitute. Okay? So yung iba kasi, it's obviously na nangungupya kasi yung, kung kunwari yung ito, 40 minus 1, yung minus 1 nilalagay na sa exponent. O yung 40 nagiging, o hindi na naging exponent, nilagay na sa 40 dapat na sa negative, sa minus 1. So, obvious yung mga ganong pangungupya. Kaya yung mga ganong, pag ganun yung pagsulat, it is wrong. So, dapat alam mo kung paano isulat ang exponent, dapat naka-superscript yan. Okay? So, let's input sa calculator, yan. If you're 50,000 times 0.005, all over 1 plus 0.005 raised to 40 minus 1. Okay, and our periodic payment is 1,132.28. So we are going to round our final answer here to 2 decimal places only. Okay, and now we can already proceed to solving the value of A because we already know the value of R, and that is the formula for that is we have it here. Okay, so kung mapapansin niyo dito sa pag-solve ng value ng A, we need the value of R, wherein it's not given in the problem. Therefore, we need to solve it first based on the given before we can proceed in solving the value of the present value of annuity. Okay, so we have here the formula and just substitute. Our periodic payment will be 1,132.28 multiplied to, okay, so mahaba-haba yung substitution natin. 1 minus 1 minus the quantity 1 plus 0.05 raised to negative 40 all over 0.05. Okay. Then just input to the calculator or any calculating device. Okay, we have it here. One minus 1,132.28 times 1 minus the quantity 1 plus. So it's important na alam natin kung paano tayo maglagay ng parentheses. 0 raised to negative 40 all over 0.05, which is equals to 40,957.09. Okay, so we have it here. So that is the answer to the given problem. And then let's have here just the conclusion. So thus 40,957.09 will be the present value of the annuity. Okay. O kung mapapansin nyo din dito sa problem, specified na ordinary siya. But for some problems, you need to determine what type of annuity is being given. Okay. Let's have the example number 4. Okay, who wants to read number 4? We have Ira.
A newly married couple applied for a house and a lot loan for ay, wait lang po. Ulit. A newly married couple a newly married couple applied for a house and lot loan worth 6,700 ay 6,078,000. Ano? Wait lang ah. Wait lang sir yung ano.
Tama, 678,000.
Oh. Through Pag-ibig Fund, they paid the down payment of 54,000 with an agreement to pay the balance in 15 years at 8% compounded quarterly. How much is the quarterly payment?
Okay, thank you. Again, we have here a simple ordinary annuity based on the problem. And meron tayong house and lot that is being bought by a married couple, and that is worth 678,000 pesos. So nag-down payment na sila ng 54. Ibig sabihin yung natitira sa 678,000, that will be minus 54, yun na yung babayaran nila for 15 years. And yung agreement nila is the interest per payment will be 8% compounded quarterly. And magkano daw ang quarterly payment? That is the payment interval. Okay, so let's have here the following given. The total cost is 678,000. Okay, let's determine the value of A. Just subtract the total cost by the down payments, which is 678,000 minus 54,000, and it is only 624,000. Or that's equals to 624,000. Okay, so that will be our A, yung start na kanilang babayaran. Okay, and then our I, we're going to have here. Kasi pag utang kasi yan, or loan like that, yung value ng A is yung kanilang inutang, or yung loan, yung money na binarrow or hiniram. Yun na yung value ng A. So, hindi mo na kailangan isosolve. And pag loan. Pero pag savings kasi yan, kailangan mo isolve. Ayan. We have here the value of I, we have here the value of R, or the nominal rate is 8%, or in decimal that is 0.008. Okay? And then the value of M, so sabi dito, compounded quarterly. Pag quarterly, always remember the value of M will be 4. So, always remember that. Always, dapat alam nyo kung ano yung maging value ng M depending on the given interest period. Okay? So we have here the value of I, that is 0.08 divided by 4, that will be 0.02. And then the value of N, the amount, the term of annuity is 15 years, multiplied to the value of M, that is equals to 60. And then the unknown here is the periodic payment. Magkano yung babayaran nila every 3 months, or that is quarterly payment. Okay, so we have here the following formula. Since ang given dito ay A, therefore yung gagamitin natin formula is the formula for R whenever the value of A is given, and that is, we have it here. Okay, and then just substitute the given to the formula. Okay, so we have here A times A is, we have here 624,000, which is multiplied to the value of I, which is 0.02, all over 1 minus the quantity 1 plus 0.02 raised to negative 60. Then gamit tayo ng calculator. Pero kung kaya nyo isolve yan manually, you can have it. Pero pag hindi nyo kaya, hindi natin kaya, just use the calculator. Okay? Yung dapat tama yung pag-input natin. We have here 624,000 times 0.02 all over 1 minus 1 plus 0.02 raised to negative 60. Ayan. And that is equals to 17,951.21 or in decimal, or in at most decimal places, we have, yes, Mr. Josh,
None, sir.
we have here the periodic payment, which is 17,951.21. So that will be the periodic payment, or the payment that you need to pay every 3 months, the married couple, para mabayaran nila yung uh, house and lot na kanilang binili. Ayan. So we are going to have here our conclusion. Thus, the quarterly payment is 17,951.21 pesos. So, okay. Let's have here the fifth example. Sino gusto magbasa? Who wants to read our fifth example? Okay, Miss Ariel.
For a low-cost house and lot, Mrs. Bowles paid 300,000 in cash and agreed to pay 5,430 pesos at the end of each month for 10 years. If money is worth 6% compounded monthly, what is the equivalent cash price of the house and lot?
Okay, so we have here Mrs. Ball. Uh, who buys a house that is on low cost, house and lot, and then nagbayad siya ng cash na 300 pesos. Yun yung binayaran niya. Ngayon, nagbayad siya ng 5,430 pesos every end of a month for 10 years para mabayaran niya ng buo yung house and lot. Ayun. And yung interest ng payment niya is 6% compounded annually, monthly. Ngayon, ang tanong is magkano yung total cost ng bahay? Ayan. Total cash price, yung price ng house and lot the moment na binili na yung house and lot. Yun yung alamin natin. Okay, so we're going to have here the following given. Since nag-down payment na siya ng 300,000, yan na lang yung i-add natin dun sa present value ng ating annuity. Okay. So we have here the value of R is given to be 5,430, and then the value of I will be 0.005 since the nominal rate is 6%, and then the interest is compounded monthly. Therefore, the value of M will be 12. So 0.06 divided by 12 is equal to 0.005. Okay. And then the term of annuity is 15 years. Just multiply it to M. 10 years pala. Dapat 10 yan. 10 pala yan, hindi 15. Okay. 10 times 12 will be 120. That will be the value of N. And now the question is the cash price. So kailangan natin i-determine yung present value ng annuity na to, tapos i-add natin sa cash price para malaman sa down payment, para malaman natin yung cash price ng house the moment na binili niya yung house and lot. So we're going to have here what is the formula determining the value of A. We're going to have here the A is equals to R, which is equal to 5,430 multiplied to 1 minus the quantity 1 plus 0.005, that is the value of our I raised to negative 120 all over 0.005. Okay, and then just use calculator. Ayan. 5,430 multiplied to 1 minus the quantity 1 plus 0.05 raised to negative 120 all over 0.005. And then it is equals to 489,908.85. So let's round our answer to decimal places, our final answer. And then to finally know the cash price of the house, and that just add 300,000, and that is 789,098.85 pesos. So yan yung price ng house and lot na yung the moment na binili niya yung house and lot. Okay, and let's have here the conclusion. The cash price of the house and lot is 789,098.85. So So that is for our example number 5. Okay, let's have here our last example. So the last example we are going to have here is similar, is the same with the first scenario that we have in the in the beginning of the discussion. We have the educational plan. You just write it in a problem or worded problem. Okay. So who wants to read our problem number 6, our last example? Okay, Miss Joanna.
Mark and Joanne open an educational plan account for their child's tertiary schooling at a certain bank. The educational plan requires them to save 10,000 ba sir or 70?
10,000.
10,000 pesos at the end of every year, which grows at an interest rate of 4% compounded annually. How much will they withdraw upon their child will be in college in 10 years, sir?
Okay, thank you. So this worded problem is the same with the situation we have earlier dun sa ating first discussion. You just write it in a worded problem. Okay, and then we're going to compare kung tama ba yung sagot natin dun sa manual's longer solution. And then we're going to compare yung sagot whenever we're going to use the formula. Okay? So here the following given, yung R or the periodic payment is 10,000 pesos. Then the value of I that is 0.04 over 1, or that is simply 0.04, since the rate of the nominal rate is 4%, and then the interest period is compounded annually. And whenever the interest period is annually, therefore the value of M will be 1. Okay. Then we have here the value of N, just multiply. The term of annuity is given to be 10 years. As an yes, you have it here, 10 years. And then the value of M is still 1. Then just multiply, that is simply 10. And then the unknown is amount of the annuity, or that is the capital letter S. And since we can solve directly yung value ng S, since kompleto na yung given na kailangan natin sa formula, we're just going to solve directly yung value ng S. Pero pag may value na kailangan tayong isolve muna, whenever, like for example, hindi given yung R kasi kailangan natin yan sa pag-solve ng S, then we need to solve first for the value of R. Ayun. Okay, so we have here the formula, and then just substitute. The value of R is given to be 10,000 multiplied to 1 plus the value of I, which is 0.04 raised to the value of N, that is 10 minus 1 all over 0.04, and then just solve using calculator. Yeah. So that will be 10,000 multiplied to 10,000 multiplied to 1 okay, we have here 10,000 multiplied to 1 plus quantity 1 plus 0.04 raised to negative 10, raised to 10 minus 1. Ayan. All over 0.04, which is equals to, okay, so that is 120,061.07 pesos. So that is the future value or the amount of annuity on this problem. Okay, so that, ito yung value na na-solve natin dun sa kanina, dun sa longer solution natin. Kung saan sinolve natin yung future value ng each 10,000 hanggang sa last payment, and then we're going to add all those future values, and then that will be the amount of annuity. Okay, so that is a longer solution. Kung wala kayong calculator na pang solve, you can use that longer solution kung saan isosolve nyo yung future value ng each payment, periodic payment, then you're going to add all those future values whenever the amount of annuity is ano. Pero pag marami kasing payment yan, then it will take a very, very long solution. Pero para mas mabilis, we have here the derived formulas para mas mabilis siyang isolve. Okay? And next, we're going to have here the final answer, which is our conclusion. Thus, they will withdraw an amount of 120,061.07 pesos. Okay, so that is our last example. We kindly raise your questions or clarifications before we're going to end. May katanungan ba tayo or questions? Or baka may clarification kayo sa module o dun sa activity sheets natin.
None, sir.
How about the others?
Answer.
None, sir.
None, sir.
None, sir.
Sigurado
None,
kayo.
sir.
Sigurado kayo. Damdama, kupkopya kayo manan. Pag gravity tingkas ta dyan mga kupkopya ya. Nakikita dyan answer da. J letters naging numbers. Na 1t plus, na 1t equals, jx naging plus. Hopefully you understand the discussion we have here. We have this morning para alam nyo kung paano sagutan yung ating activity sheets. And suggest ko sa inyo kung kaya nyo tapusin ng mas maaga, then do it. Para you're going to have your longer vacation. Yan. Okay?
Sir, iba naman yung ay clarify ko lang sir. Sir, iba naman yung dinidiscuss natin ngayon, yung kung paano mag-solve tapos yung andito sa answer sheet namin parang nakakuan lang siya. Nakatable lang. Paano to sir?
Yung table, huwag niyong pansinin yung table.
Yung lang girl sir, yung problem,
One.
problem solving?
Yes, yung table yan yung score sheet natin. Parang scoring table per activity.
Okay. So yung lang garod yung pansinin namin sir, yung mga problem solving.
Kasi diyan namin isusulat yung mga scores ninyo para mas madali niyo makita yung scores ninyo. Kasi doon sa ating scoring doon sa ating scoring mas malaki ang percentage ng anong tawag dito? Mas malaki ang percentage ng solution dito sa paggamit ng formula kumpara sa percentage ng given. Okay, so kapag nag-identify nyo yung, asan kasi yun, wait lang. Basta ganun. Kasi mas mabigat yung weight ng ating solution kumpara din sa given and then conclusion.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Kasi tigdadalawang problem lang yung binigay ko para hindi masyadong marami yung sinosolve ninyo. Kasi pinawasan namin masyado. Kasi yung last school year, marami talagang activities yan, maraming problems, pero binawasan lang namin para mas madali sa inyong sagutan, para yun. And then of course, dapat masagutan nyo ng maayos kasi dadalawang problem yan lang yung given per activity. Kasi pag hindi nyo nasagot ng tama yung dalawang activity, then the score you're going to have is very low. Kasi each item is given to be 10 points dun sa problem solving. Like for this one, this is worth 10 points. Pero yung, I think 3 points ang given, and then 2 points yung conclusion, and then 5 points yung solution natin. Ayan. Okay, so it's very important na alam nyo, dun sa criteria na gagamitin natin, nakabase siya sa accuracy. Okay? Dapat accurate yung pagsulat ninyo ng numbers. Okay, and then yung pag-solve. Do you have any more clarifications or questions? Okay, so i-discuss na natin yung performance task. Doon sa performance task natin ngayon, that is worth 100 points, kaya dapat ayusin nyo yung paggawa ng performance task natin. Okay? So you're just going to write a short story. Dapat yung short story natin is application of interest or the discussions we have on this business mathematics part of the subject. Okay? So yun lang naman yung main point na ating short story. And dapat pag alam niyo naman short story, may characters yan, may plot. Kung maganda yung story niyo, then that will be perfect to be 100. And then of course, after your story, meron kayong values na na-specify, di ba, sa story. Then you need to show how did you arrive with these values. Okay? Kung paano mo na-solve yung, kung may binigyan ka dong na periodic payment, like for example na 10,000, how did you arrive with the periodic payment? Okay, so you're going to show using the formula that we have already discussed. Pero yung kung problem mo lang is related sa, yung short story mo is application of compound interest only, then it will be easier for you to show the solution for the values that you have specified or the numbers that you have specified or the amounts. Ayun. So hopefully, mas ayusin nyo yung performance test niyo compared sa performance test nyo ng first quarter kasi yung iba is hindi masyadong inayos. Kasi malaki din ang impact ng performance test sa grade niyo kasi 100 points yan. And well, of course, yung performance test, hindi lang siya magre-rely dun sa big task na binigay. For example, sa short story, hindi lang siya mag-rely dun. Kukuha din kami ng points dun sa ating activities, other activities. So, okay. Do you have any questions or clarifications?
None, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So, pag wala, you can now leave, and I hope na you're going to join again in our next discussion. Okay, so thank you so much. You can now leave.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
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 Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sige.
Thank you, sir. Bye.